Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. Cruising on through. We are on to the third quarter. Halftime is over with. Big thanks for hanging out with us this morning, no matter where you are listening to us from or how you may be listening to us. Coming up in about an hour, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Pete Knutson will be joining us to kind of recap the first week of the season for the Express and look ahead to this week as the Express will be back at Carson Park tonight to take on Thunder Bay, a team that they'll be playing for the fourth straight game. They picked up a win yesterday afternoon at Carson Park, so we'll see if the Express can pick up another win tonight. So we got that coming up in about an hour. We'll do some we'll get to some more VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. We'll do a little Glory Days brought to you by Summer Jam, probably coming up in the final hour, next hour too. So Brewers, they had a fantastic weekend, fantastic month of May, only losing one series. Mix in a couple sweeps in there. I mean, the series they lost to was the Dodgers. Jacob Mizorowski, absolutely fantastic month of May. If it wasn't for Christopher Sanchez, Jacob Mizorowski would be probably the main talk. About, a lot of National League pitchers have a fantastic month of May, but if it wasn't for Sanchez not allowing a single run, Miz might be at the top of the list in terms of the national attention, national talking points for Jacob Mizorowski. Superstar, ace, whatever you want to call him, he's that. 100%, he is that. So the Brewers will try to kind of pick up where they left off in the month of May and begin a new series, begin a new month, and maybe continue playing at a high level. When you look at our first impressions of this Brewers schedule for the month of June, team's going to take it day by day, and they should. But you look at this. Okay, you got the Giants for 4 games at your park, at your field. The Giants are a team that I think it's fair to say not maybe playing as well as they thought or a lot of people thought. They're 13 games under 500. They're 23-36. Okay, they're like 1.5 games above the Rockies in their division. All right, so Giants not playing that well. This is in Milwaukee on paper. I know pitching, there's like two of them that are TBDs, to be announced, to be determined. Brewers should win this series. Should. But you look at this schedule, and then you got the Rockies after this. All right. An opportunity to start a new month on a good note, on a hot streak, to kind of pick up where you left off in the month of May. And then you visit the Athletics. The Athletics are better this year. There's no question. They're still under 500, though. Seattle has overtaken that AL West spot. They've won 6 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. Athletics 28-31. They're tied with the Rangers. Athletics are just 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they're taking on the Cubs right now. But again, winnable series for the Brewers. Brewers should be favored in that. And then, kind of like May, in the middle of the month, there's an interesting stretch. So when we were looking at Brewers, it kind of began with that Cardinals series that ended up just being a 2-game series. But then you had Cardinals, Yankees, Padres. You throw the Twins in there, Cubs, Dodgers, Cardinals. Those are some quality teams in there for a big chunk of May. And now you look at the schedule here for June for the Brewers. Not to overlook the Giants, the Rockies, or Athletics, because you better not. Brewers better not overlook them. Take advantage of the schedule. Take care of your own business. Win these games against those teams. But I'm looking at starting June 12th. I'm a fan. I can look ahead a little bit here. that begins a stretch of some really tough matchups and potentially some really good series. You've got the Phillies at home starting June 12th for a 3-game series. Then you've got the Guardians at home for a 3-game series. Phillies definitely playing better than what they were earlier on in the season, although look at the Nationals right now. The Nationals, 31-29. They're second place in the NL East behind the Atlanta Braves. Phillies are in third, but, I mean, I don't think anybody's ready to toss the Phillies aside. They're back above 500. They're 30-29. And depending on, can you imagine, I don't know what the layout would look out, but if we get a Miz versus Sanchez start in that series, that's a hot ticket. I'd love to go to that game. You might not, if you like offense with your baseball, though, you may not want to watch that game. But that would be a fantastic matchup between those two pitchers. But you look at that series. Man, that's a big one. Then the Guardians. Then you hit the road to take the Braves for 3 games. The National League's best team, Major League Baseball's best team, Atlanta Braves, hitting the road to take them on. Huge series in a row. Then you have the Reds. And I know the Reds in the division right now are in last place, but they're still a winning record. It's going to be a tough out. Division games, yeah. And you come back to face the Cubs at home. And you know the Cubs would love nothing more than to enact a little revenge after sweeping them at Wrigley Field. They would love to return the favor at AmFam Field. And then you finish up with the Reds at home, too. So not to overlook this Giants series or the Rockies this weekend or the Athletics a week from today. But that stretch of games starting on June 12th, got some good matchups there. And then if we're getting really far ahead of ourselves, the Brewers, right before the All-Star break, they're going to be on the road quite a bit. But then they're at home right after the All-Star break for a good stretch here, too. So, but Giants. So we get Shane Drone getting to start today for the Brewers. He got a start back on April 8th, his lone start, and it did not go well against Boston. But since then, he has been a very good pitcher coming out of the pen and given the Brewers some long relief, eating up some innings, and pitching very well. When you look at what Shane has done, again, just in the month of May, if we look at his numbers in terms of, excuse me, in the month of May, he has been, where'd it go there? All right, 1-0 in 7 games, but a 1.72 ERA. In 7 games, he has pitched just under 16 innings. There is a couple games here where he's gone 3 innings. He did go 4 1/3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Yankees. He's coming off of 2 innings pitched against the Cardinals back on the 27th. So I think the Brewers are hoping that would like to get 3 innings out of him if it's going well tonight. I would say that's probably the number. If you can get through, a turn through the rotate. Heck, if he's wheeling and dealing, maybe you approach that 4 innings. But, that game against the Cubs where he went 4 1/3, he threw a total of 42 pitches. I mean, you want to talk about efficiency? Dude was on in that game. And a big difference between his month of April and the month of May has been the walks. And a lot of it is skewed, I think, by that first game from Boston. He issued 4 walks. And in the month of May, a total of 3 walks. His command has been better. His control has been better. His stuff has just been better overall. And I think they may have found a nice sweet spot for him, too, because even if you look at April, April 24th, he pitched 4 innings, 71 pitches, no decision against Pittsburgh. Threw 10 pitches in a game against Arizona on the 28th. And then April 30th, he pitched 60 pitches in 4 innings. The highest pitch count that he had in the month of May is 42, and it was that Cubs game. So maybe kind of looking around that 40, 45 pitch count area. Try to get through 3 innings, maybe 4 if he's on like he was during that Cubs game. I think if Pat Murphy and the Brewers got that from Shane tonight, they'd be ecstatic. Because then you're really not draining out your bullpen. Because let's face it, it's kind of a bullpen type of game tonight. And if they can get 3-4 innings out of him and maybe not use Chad Patrick, or if they have to use Chad Patrick, maybe it's like an inning. Because given the probable starters that have been listed out there, Kyle Harrison's supposed to get the start tomorrow. Don't be surprised if Chad Patrick gets one of those starts. After that, it might be a little bit up in the air. Maybe when was the last time Robert Gasser started? Let me take a look. See if I can find it here. Really quick. So Robert's last appearance was I don't want his. I want game logs. Let's go May 29th. Okay, so yeah, that's a possibility maybe at the back end that he could get the series finale and such. But I think a big key for tonight's game for Shane Drone and for this Brewers team, let's give them that early run support. I know we keep saying it. We keep kind of, always mentioning that as a key to victory, but I think that is such a huge key to victory for these younger pitchers that if they go in there and they know they've already got some early run support, it just gives them that confidence, kind of relaxes it for them a little bit. It'd be huge. All right, let's take a quick break. Back with play more. I do want to throw a little Badger stuff in here because we do have some Badger football nugget. We'll obviously dive into it more detail with RJ Cardinal, but something of note for Badger football that popped up this weekend too. So let's hit that quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is here with personalized care every single step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you do not have to sit on the sidelines. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, to feel better, and to live better. We'll chat about this in more detail tomorrow with Mr. Cardinal, but it is of note that the Wisconsin Badgers, now they haven't hired an AD, but they've got a new football GM. And he's a former NFL executive, Morocco Brown, hired as Wisconsin's new football GM. He's a former Colts chief personnel executive. It also should be noted that the Colts general manager is Chris Ballard, who is a Wisconsin alum, and he is a member of the Badgers search committee for the new athletic director. But Brown previously worked with Cleveland, Washington, and Chicago in the NFL. He's also had several interviews for NFL general manager roles, including with Atlanta, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. Now, Brown joined the Colts with Ballard in 2017, and he was named chief personnel executive in 2022. So, again, it's kind of another, I guess, sign, another example, if you will, of Badger football kind of trying to modernize maybe to the current wave of college football. So, one thing that probably won't get a lot of Badger fans pumped up is that he apparently was a guy that really championed the Colts to draft Anthony Richardson. Now we'll see how Anthony Richardson's career maybe pans out after his Colts tenure, but that's kind of one of the things that is noted with him is that he is the guy who really kind of championed the Colts to draft Anthony Richardson. So, but again, I'm sure there's going to be some Badgers fans that are going to look at that as the one example and maybe use that against him and such. But so they get that one. They've got their new football GM. Still waiting to hear about the athletic director, any updates or anything like that out there. So staying with college here, just for a quick note here. UW Milwaukee. All right, UW Milwaukee baseball. They're in a kind of do or die situation tonight. So they're going to be taking on Auburn. Going to be taking on Auburn again. So tonight at 5 p.m. Now they beat Auburn first, then Auburn come back and beat them 8-1. So if they got to win tonight to continue their run in the World Baseball Classic. Or not, why do I keep saying World Baseball Classic? College World Series. I always say World Baseball Classic. I don't know why that's been in my head here as of late. College World Series. But it's been really fun. Pat Murphy, I'm sure a lot of you already saw him getting pumped up and getting them, telling everybody to get pumped up and jacked up and following along with UW Milwaukee baseball. I mean, think about it. Division I baseball in the state of Wisconsin. It's UW Milwaukee, for crying out loud. Right? I mean, that's the team. That's until Wisconsin-Madison ever gets one, if they ever get one again. That's our team. That's the D1 team. Right? So let's hope that they get and I mean, come on now, Dalton Varsho. He's got to be pumped up. That's where he went to college. Hopefully they can continue their run and beat Auburn again tonight. So, tell you what, I'll wait till the 9 o'clock hour. I was going to go through some of the, because I know we've got some prep baseball, some prep softball playoffs, and a lot of prep stuff, but I'll wait till the 9 o'clock hour to get to that after RJ Cardinal and such too. Quick little football nuggets. Today is June 1st, as in case you didn't know, waking up or looking at the calendar. So, from a football perspective, Nate Hobbs, Brandon McManus, their contracts will come off the Packers' book. Creating, according to Ken Ingalls, creating another $9.3 million of cap space for 2026. So their cap space will go from $17 million to about $26 million. What does that mean? It can mean a couple different things. One, maybe more extensions now that they got a little bit more breathing room. Could see some more extensions. Christian Watson, Devontae Wyatt, those type, Tucker Kraft. I think we're still going to get at least 1-2 more extensions before the season starts, maybe one during the season. I think that's still very much in play. Obviously, there's a lot of unknowns right now with the running back situation and the Josh Jacobs issue. So I haven't seen anything as of late, any updates or anything like that. But it's kind of a big day in terms of that. Now, I don't think you're going to all of a sudden see a lot of releases because Nate Hobbs was released already. Brandon McManus was released already. Nate Hobbs is already on a new team. So you're not necessarily going to see an influx of teams releasing players because it's June 1st. Teams can release those players way beforehand. It's just those contract numbers don't come off the books until today, after today. The post-June 1st. That's the big thing in this thing. So when you hear post-June 1st cuts, it's not necessarily an influx of a bunch of veterans that are going to be released. It's just those veterans most of them have already been released. It's just the cap number officially comes off those books if teams designated those players as post-June 1st cuts, like the Packers did with Nate Hobbs and Brandon McManus. So maybe there'll be a few teams that move on from guys, but one of them, we may see the A.J. Brown trade kind of finally come to a head. That could be a possibility, but all right. Tell you what, we got to take a quick break here. We'll kind of catch up on some other things that have been going on before we get to a little express chat and such. So, tell you what, let's do that. Let's take a quick break and continue to send me your. Oh no, I just saw Raymond Berry passed away. One of the best tight ends in football history. Long-time Colt player. Oh, he passed away. I just saw that pop up. Oh, that's sad. All right. Send me your VFW post, best and worst from the weekend. Text it on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can hit us up on the Section 105 chat room. We'll take a quick break and back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. When it comes to a quality meat in Eau Claire, there's one name that locals trust, and that's Mike's Star Market. From hand-cut steaks and fresh ground beef to homemade brats and specialty items, everything is prepared with care and packed with flavor. Planning a cookout, filling the freezer, or just looking for something better for dinner tonight? Mike's Star Market has got you covered. Stop on and stay and taste the difference. Mike's Star Market, your hometown butcher shop right here in Eau Claire. So we got a busy 9 o'clock hour coming up. We'll kick it off, again, talking some baseball. We'll chat with Pete Knutson from the Eau Claire Express to kick off our Monday Express chats. The Express now a week into their season. They'll be back at Carson Park tonight. Then after that, we'll do some more local sports. We'll do our local sports roundup with, first of all, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center, and Justice Cleveland will join us for that. So got a busy at 9 o'clock hour coming your way this morning. Reminder, Brewers are back in action tonight to begin a 4-game series going up against the Giants. The Giants will be coming to town. First pitch, the next 3 games are all going to be at 6:40. And coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. You can catch those games on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Busy week here for the crew because 4 games against the Giants, no off day in there, and then they're going to be hitting the road to take on the Rockies of Colorado. So, best and worst. Our VFW post 305, best and worst from the weekend. I'll go with mine. My best, I got to go with UW Milwaukee. I just hope it gets better tonight with a win. I hope it gets better tonight with a win from UW Milwaukee's baseball team. So, but thumbs up. I know it was a little bit before the weekend, but hey, I'm going to throw them in there. So that's the best. Got started off there. The worst and best, honorable mention, you could throw in the Miz and just completing a month of May that was spectacular and absolutely fantastic. Worst, this whole Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever coach drama sort of thing. Come on. Now we've got, should the Fever, decide the head coach or Caitlin Clark, who should stay, who should go? Come on, we got to stop this. And I will say this, the constant complaining from Caitlin Clark on the court for some of this stuff, it does get a little too much. Okay, I'm just going to say it does get a little too much. There's at times that there was like one play I witnessed this past weekend, and she was just really upset, and it was, I wouldn't have called it a foul. Really, like, touch, like, it was kind of like there's somebody trying to set a screen, I think, up at the top, or she was, all right, anyways, it was very ticky-tacky, and they didn't call a foul, and she got pretty upset, and it's just like, okay, no, just don't. All right. That's kind of like my glory days, too. I'm just going to transition into my glory days, brought to you by Summer Jam. Remember the glory days when guys or players or athletes didn't really complain so much about foul calls, or whether it's been basketball or football and quarterbacks and such? Not to say that it was better when people didn't, they would play with concussion. I'm not saying that, but man, I feel like back when I was younger and watching these games, I didn't see so much of pro players, pro athletes complaining to the referees as much as they do today. I could be completely wrong. Or maybe it's just it's hyper-focused more because of social media. And it's constantly in our face. So we see it more often. We see instant replays of it. And it's always on loop. I just feel like and I think it's transitioning into younger sports too, because, I see it, whether it's being a youth sports coach or whatever. But, 8, 9, 10-year-olds, like in baseball, they don't think it's a strike, so they're complaining to the umpire, who's also like a teenager. It's like, no, stop. Or basketball, complaining about a non-call. Stop. And I don't know if that's because they see it also from their favorite athletes, where they're just constantly complaining, and they're constantly, not only complaining, but making a scene out of it too. And I don't know if maybe I'm completely ignoring it from when I was younger. But man, it feels like back in the glory days when, you might have gotten, drive into the lane in basketball. You might have gotten hit. You might have gotten a little bump. But you didn't complain about it as part of the game. And in football, it's a physical sport, right? You are expected to get hit. I don't care if you're a quarterback making $500 million. You're in football. You're expected to get hit. It's not flag football. For crying out loud. Like, what happened? Like, what changed? You know what I mean? Like, what was that moment in like sports history or in the sports timeline? What all of a sudden changed this mindset, I don't know if narrative isn't the right word, but what changed this kind of way of going about it all? This way of, hey, we're going to complain about every little thing about ticky-tack fouls and go to the officials. And that's not to say they never did. Okay, I feel like it's even more to this day. And again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's just exposed more because of social media. But because of that exposure to social media and it constantly being on TV and all the, internet and such, I think that's exposing it more to our younger athletes, and we're seeing our younger athletes kind of emulate that. And I'm not saying it's wrong to emulate athletes. I did it as a kid. We all did it as a kid. A lot of us did it as a kid, whether it was basketball and we were, pretending to be Jordan or beating Jordan, or in baseball and you're pretending to be Nolan Ryan and throwing, to an imaginary catcher. You're Ken Griffey Jr. at the plates, or football, you're throwing touchdown passes as Brett Favre. We all emulated them. And maybe we kind of emulated some of their antics, like Jordan, the tongue wag, right? We all did that stuff. I just don't want them to emulate. It's okay to constantly complain about every little ticky-tack foul or every little ball strike. When did that change? Let's get back to the glory days of that. That's what I miss. Just go out there and play. Just go out there and play. All right, so NBA Finals. How geeked up are you about this? Here's the thing. With the NBA Finals, I'm glad it's two different teams. That's what I will say. I'm glad it's a little bit different. It's not Boston again. It's Thunder won it last year, so I shouldn't necessarily say it's like, oh, it's always the Thunder. It's different with the Spurs. It's a unique matchup in terms of you got the Knicks as a worldwide brand, as a team that I think a lot of us feel the NBA itself would love to see win the championship in a big market in New York. Madison Square Garden, right? You're going to have all the celebrities. You're going to have all the hype. You're going to have all the attention. Like the Knicks are finally back in the finals. Are they going to finally win again? And on the flip side, you've got a budding worldwide superstar already at that level, Victor Wembanyama. I mean, the NBA, I would think, would have to love this. And the Spurs are championship pedigree franchise, too, under Greg Popovich. Right? They've won multiple championships not that long ago. So you've got a worldwide superstar in Victor Wembanyama, and you've got a brand team like the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. The NBA loves this. Why wouldn't they love it? I don't know what I think their ratings are going to be solid for wherever it's come. Maybe a lot of us who are not big NBA fans or such, or maybe you're just a Bucks fan. Okay, you may casually tune in once in a while. I'll be tuning in. It's the NBA Finals, for crying out loud, and I hope it's a good series. I hope we got some good games on there. But I think the NBA got best of both worlds. And then Stanley Cup Finals, you got Carolina, and you got Vegas. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights are such a interesting story when you kind of look at the beginnings, right? I mean, they were founded in 2017. They've already won a Stanley Cup championship. They've won 3 conference championships already. And they've only been there from 27, not even 10 years in existence. Vegas back in it. And then you got Carolina. You know, the Hurricanes. They won a Stanley Cup in 05, 06 season. And that was the last time that they were in a conference championship, too. So it's been about 20 years. It has been 20 years since they've been back in it. The old Hartford Whalers, right? So, I'm curious. I'm excited for both these. First of all, Stanley Cup Finals, playoff hockey. How many times have we said it? Is awesome in itself, and it's fun to watch. I think it'll be a fun series, and I think the NBA Finals is going to be a fun playoff series too. So between all of our basketball games and maybe a little World Cup coming soon down the road, I think we're going to have some decent finals matchups. But we'll start to make picks tomorrow when we get our first game, Stanley Cup Finals, Game 1 coming your way tomorrow. All right, let's take a quick break. And we'll wrap up the third hour coming up after these few words. Kids are out of school or will be out of school at the end of this week for, well, some of them, I know mine will be. So it's time to stock up the food pantries or the freezers with extra snacks, extra meals, because you know they're just going to be constantly hungry now, right? So what better place to go, or where do you go? It's Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Take advantage of some of the sales going on, like 10 for $8 Chobani yogurts. My kid loves yogurt. That's a heck of a deal. You can load up with different flavors of yogurts. How about, temperatures are up, so a little ice cream, $2.99 for Blue Bunny ice cream, and sales on various Blue Bunny ice cream products, whether it's, you just want to get the container, or maybe some ice cream bars and such. So you could get that, load up the freezers with that. Ooh, a little Blue Bunny cones, caramel cones over there too. So already got 12 packs of sodas. Looks like Pepsi products. They're on sale this week as well. So if you need to load up the fridge, the freezer, the food pantry, because the kids are at home now off of school, get your shopping done at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. And right now too, because you want to make sure you're always following that Facebook page for Hy-Vee, because they got a hot deal alert. Butterball 85% ground turkey, $12 for 8 1-pound packages while supplies last. So get on over there while supplies last. And don't forget to, while you shop at Hy-Vee, you can save some money at the gas pump with their fuel perks. All right, just a few minutes left until the top of the hour here. So really quick, kicking off the 9 o'clock hour, we'll catch up with the Eau Claire Express. Pete Knutson will be joining us. First week in the books for the Eau Claire Express season. And so we'll chat with him. We'll chat with Pete to get his thoughts on the team thus far. First week impressions. The Express are going to be back at it tonight at Carson Park, taking on Thunder Bay. And then after that, Justice Cleveland will join us to wrap up the first hour. We'll do some local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. I know we got a lot of playoff stuff with prep baseball, softball, golf, soccer. So we'll break it all down with Justice coming up in the next hour or two. I know it's going to be kind of a busy day for his crew, or busy week, I should say, for his crew and such. So, but we'll go through it all coming up here in the next hour. You can continue to send me your VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. So text those on over on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the video stream and join in on the Section 105 chat room. So, and then we'll get back. We'll throw in some more Brewers baseball, too, as we get set for Game 1 of a 4-game series with the Giants. First pitch tonight, 6:40. 6:40. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. And you can listen to that game on the radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. It'll be 6:40 for tonight and the next 2 days, and then Thursday's game is going to be 1:40 first pitch. But we've got Shane Drone, who's going to get the start tonight for the Brewers. Got to imagine maybe it's going to be a little bit of a bullpen day. And then Kyle Harrison's going to get the start tomorrow. And then right now, still to be announced for the next 2 starts for the Brewers. I think Chad Patrick's going to get one of those, depending on probably if they need him either today or tomorrow. But I think they're probably hoping that he'll be available to start one of those games. And then maybe Robert Gasser getting that last one, too, just depending on, kind of seeing where his last start was the 29th. So it may work out that maybe he gets that start, too. So, but we'll see. So, all right, just a couple minutes left until the top of the hour. So, again, send me your VFW Post 305's best and worst from the weekend. All right. What you got? And if you want to do some Weekend Warriors shout-outs, I think I got a couple of them I got to get to yet. You can also send those on over, and we'll do a little shout-out there, too, in the final hour. But we got a couple texts regarding the Brewers. We had Dave a little bit earlier saying, what Jacob Mizorowski is doing is unbelievable. You're correct. If Sanchez did not allow a single run in the month of May, Mizorowski would be the talk around Major League Baseball. Hopefully he can continue to pitch at a high level in the month of June. Another texter, Nick, said, absolutely awesome month of May for the Brewers. They're off to a really good start. Hopefully they can kind of continue this and not stutter in the month of June. And then Alex with a text about the Brew Crew. I really hope that we do see Cooper Pratt and or Jet Williams with the ball club soon. I think we need more offensive production from the left side of the infield. And I think Jet Williams and Cooper Pratt are playing at a high enough level that they deserve to be called up to the Major League Ball Club. Maybe this is the month. Maybe this is the month they do. And like I said in the first hour, I'm a little bit worried about my guy, Sal Frelick. Got to get some better production from him. Otherwise, you got a kid named Laura waiting there too. And that could be an option. Come on, Sal. Come on, baby. We need the summer of Sal back. Salvatore. Got to get better offensive production, man. Got to get it there, dude. Defense is there, but I don't want to turn this into a Joy Ortiz thing with Salvatore. Please don't. Let's just, I'm begging you, Sal, figure it out at the plate. Let's go. All right, let's go. All right, Shocklet's going to cut me off. So we got some news updates, and then we'll kick off the final hour on this Monday morning of June 1st. Chatting some more baseball. We'll chat some Eau Claire Express baseball as the first week of the season. Already here. Right? Already here. So PK Newton will be joining us, and then we've got Justice Cleveland's from WEAU 13 News, Sports Scene 13. He'll do our local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Quick news break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.